Hey, what's going on there, everybody? It's Edwin back again for Strictly Comics, and it has been a while since I did a video, but I got a nice stack of books, so I decided to go ahead and show them off. Real quick, though, most of these books are not mine. They are books that I am cleaning and pressing for a couple of customers. If anybody's interested in cleaning and pressing, go ahead and check me out over on Facebook at Strictly Comics. Click the Get Quote button, which is a big blue button on my page, if you have any questions or if there's any interest. Right now I'm currently doing one book pressed for free when 5 books or more are submitted. Okay, let's go ahead and get right into this. First, I'm going to do a few books that I picked up for New Comic Book Day Wednesday yesterday. As you can see, Venom, The War of the Realms, number 15. I went ahead and picked that up. I also grabbed this Sonata, issue number 1 by Image Comics. I already read this. I might actually do a review on it just because I haven't done a comic book review in a very long time, and it actually wasn't a bad read in my opinion. But I always say you can never go wrong with the Image number 1, so I say grab all Image number 1s. And speaking of Image number 1s, I think a lot of people picked this up. I grabbed The Ride, issue number 1. I think everybody grabbed it just because it's an Adam Hughes cover. I believe that this is the regular cover. Yeah, it's the regular cover. So I assume that he had, well, it's got his name right there. So he probably does some interior pages within this book. So, but that's all that I got for New Comic Book Day Wednesday. I don't buy a lot of modern books anymore just because they're too expensive, and the politicalization of the a lot of the books. So I actually stay away from a lot of modern books these days, but I still pick up a few copies here and there. So some books that I'm pressing for somebody. These are actually already pressed, so I'm going to go ahead and show these first. Fantastic Four, issue number 49. First full Galactus. First cover appearance of the Silver Surfer. And this is about between a 4 and a 5 grade. And I may post the before and after pictures of the pressing results on my Instagram. I'm not really sure. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Strictly Comics. You know, I actually do post a lot of before and after pictures of my pressing over on my Instagram page. I also pressed this for somebody, Tomb of Dracula, issue number 10. It's a beautiful copy. It's got a huge crease, which completely just murders this book. If it wasn't for that crease, I'd easily put this between an 8 and an 8.5. Because of that crease, I'm thinking like somewhere between like a 6.5 and a 7. I could be wrong, but that's just kind of what I'm going for. These are actually going to get sent to CGC for somebody, so we'll know. We're actually probably doing a CGC unboxing when these come back. I also got this that I pressed for somebody, Fantastic Four number 67. First appearance of him, aka Adam Warlock. It's a beautiful book. I did a little bit to this. Wasn't really much that I could do to it, but I did make some slight improvements. I'm thinking that this is probably going to be like a, I don't know, man, maybe somewhere between a 5 and a 6. It looks like it's got some water damage up there at the top, but we'll see. And then for the same customer, I did Captain America 180. I guess it's the first appearance of Nomad. Probably a B or C list character. I've never really heard of him, but then again, I never really collected Captain America too much. So, but I did that. I also did for the same customer, first appearance of Blue Marvel, issue number 1, Adam Legend of the Blue Marvel. You know, I guess this was like it's been kind of a hot book under the radar, so to speak. And I've seen quite a few people, especially Mercenaut. He's posted this book, I think, a few times. So I got that, and that's actually all that I did for this customer. And then for another customer, I did this right here, Ultimate Fallout number 4, first Miles Morales, as we know. And a lot of these are going to send to CGC here within the next few days. For another customer, I've got ASM number 14, first Green Goblin. It's actually a nice looking copy. It's low grade, but still, it's just a nice looking copy. I mean, usually when I see these books, especially out in the wild, they're pretty beat up, even more so worse than this one. But it's still a very nice book that presents well, in my opinion. And really in no particular order for the same customer. I'm doing this right here. X-Men number 2, second appearance of the X-Men, first appearance of the Vanisher. It's got a little bit of writing right there. Nothing really I can do about that. I do know that they don't really knock you down too much for writing. CGC doesn't. And so usually, unless it's on a white part of the book, I don't usually touch it. Some people kind of drives them crazy, but I just say leave it on there because you might mess the book up even worse trying to remove those. Next, I got ASM number 15, first appearance of Kraven the Hunter. I had this book. It came back as a CGC 4.0, but I sold it because I needed the money. And I know that this book is definitely going up. Really, anything early ASM is going up. First Rhino, ASM number 41. It's a pretty nice copy right here. It looks like a mid-grade, somewhere between probably like a 5 and a 6. Also got this right here for the same customer. ASM number 46, first appearance of the Shocker. I used to have this book, man. I think it came back at CGC 8.5 or 8.0, and I'm beating myself up now because I sold it prior to his movie appearance, and I wish I would have just kept it because it was a very solid book. And then again, same customer, Fantastic Four number 52, first appearance of Black Panther. I would love to have this book, but there's no way I'm going to pay what people are asking for this book right now, especially with him on the big screen. People are just asking way too much for a character that was like a D or E or F list character prior to the movies coming out. So I think I'll just wait maybe like 5 or 10 years after he is off the big screen before I try to seek out a copy. There's just no way I'm going to pay for what people are asking for. Let me go ahead and move these. Next, I got Avengers number 8. I guess this is the first appearance of Kang the Conqueror. Hot book. I like the date stamp that's up there at the top. Those are always nice to have. Next, I got the Flash issue number 139. I guess this is the first appearance of the Reverse Flash. I'm not sure. I don't have this book in my personal collection. And the last book for this customer is Detective Comics 411, first appearance of what's her name? Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Talia al Ghul. So I got to press these for somebody, and then we're going to go ahead and submit them to CGC. And that's all the back issues. Next, I got some slabs to show. Here's the first one. We'll do a reveal here in a second. There we go. Real quick, go ahead and check us out every Thursday over at JLS Comics on YouTube, where myself, XL State Comics, Boston Chris, and Jesse JLS Comics, we do comic conversation every Thursday at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. So check us out as we just kind of talk about comics, pop culture, movies, and all that stuff. Nothing really in particular, just having a bunch of fun, talking a bunch of nonsense about what's going on in pop culture. But I got 3 slabs to show. These 3 are definitely mine. And this one, as you can see, was sent to CBCS. When I sent this book out, I thought that it would come back anywhere between a 9 and a 9.2. And I got it signed by Gary Conway at Comicpalooza about a month or so ago. And I know that this is a hot book in high grade. This is the first appearance of Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin. When I set it off, I thought it would come back as a 9.0 or to a 9.2. And it came back as an 8.5. So a little disappointing. If anybody who submits books to both grading companies knows, they ought to know that CBCS is a much tougher grader. And I could show that on books from CBCS and CGC. I have a CGC CBCS comparison video that I need to edit and upload, but I'm going to wait because it's heavily criticized towards CGC, and I got some key books right now that are with CGC for grading. So I'm going to wait for probably a while before I upload that video, just because I know it's going to get a lot of views and you're going to have the CGC fanboys hating on me, and you're just going to have just all kind. It's just going to be, it's going to be a roller coaster. So I'm going to actually wait for a little while before I upload that video. But CBCS is definitely the toughest grader of both companies, in my opinion, and I have a lot of evidence to back up that conclusion. The next book that I'm going to show is this right here. This is Detective Comics, Adventure Comics, number 346. This is the first appearance of the Karate Kid. Yes, that's the Karate Kid right here. This guy right here. First appearance of the Karate Kid in comic books. This is a book from the 60s, you guys, 1966. I got it signed by Ralph Macchio at Fan Expo Dallas last month. I didn't have a lot of stuff for him to sign. I wanted him to sign the Karate Kid #1. Actually, him, Johnny Lawrence, and Johnny Lawrence Sensei from Cobra Kai. But I didn't think that it was... I didn't think that they really had much place to sign their names other than Ralph Macchio on this book, even though this is not the Karate Kid from the Ralph Macchio, but when you think of the Karate Kid, you always think of Ralph Macchio. And I thought that at the time, what better book to have him sign than the first appearance of the Karate Kid in comics? And he did. Beautiful signature, great book. When I sent this off, I thought it would come back as about a 7.0. And instead, it came back from CBCS as a 6.0. So I was a little upset, but, you know, I think that they actually graded it correctly. Show you guys on the back right here. You know, you got like some staining right there. You got like a little bit of water deal right there. You know, you also got some staining right there. Right there, and I think that's it. I think there was like yeah, there's like a little chip missing in the corner. So, I mean, oh, this also right here, a little bit of piece missing. So, you know, I have to be honest. I think that they graded it correctly. I've been so used to CGC's the loose grading that just kind of resonated with me more when I sent these books in, but. You know, keep in mind that CBCS is a harsher grader. Some of you guys might ask, well, Edwin, why didn't you just send it to CBCS? Guys, when I go to conventions, a lot of times I don't know what I'm going to get signed until like maybe a couple days prior. And my submission to CBCS recently, I submitted 51 books. Yes, 51. And the reason why I went with them is because I do get... I am able to be a witness with CBCS. It's a lot easier for me now since I've been doing it for like 4 years than trying to get it done with CGC. And also because I don't have the time to press 50 books before I go to a convention, especially when you don't always know what you're going to get signed and what you're not going to get signed. Sometimes time is a factor. Sometimes standing in line is a factor. And I literally spent every bit of my time during the 3-day convention just getting books signed. That was it. I didn't do much digging, and it was very, very time consuming. So that's the reason why I went with CBCS. Now, a lot of these books are in my own personal collection, so I'm not really going to flip these. So that's why the last book that I'm going to show today is this right here. Now, this one was done through CGC, because it was already cleaned and pressed. It had already been sent to CGC before, and it came back as a CGC 9.4. So it was signed by Frank Welker, who is the voice of Megatron on the Transformers cartoon from the 80s, and was also signed by Peter Cullen, who is the voice of Megatron, not only in the cartoon from the 80s, but also the movies, the video games, everything. So 2 icons in Transformers history signed this book. This is going to be in my own personal collection. This will never get sold unless I freaking hit hard times or something like that. But it was a CGC 9.4 when I submitted it a year or so ago These guys were going to be at Dallas Fan Expo last month. I said I had to get them to sign something. I got them to sign this, resubmitted it, and it came back CGC 9.4. So I'm actually really happy with this because I've heard some horror stories from people who say that in the past CGC had given lower grades for books that were resubmitted, and I don't have to tell one of those horror stories with you guys, so I'm very thankful for that. But you know, and I'll just give you some context. Peter Cullen's line was like twice as long as Frank Welker, and to me, I really didn't understand that. I know that Optimus Prime is the face of the Transformers, but I would have to say Megatron or Starscream or both have to be second in line when it comes to the face of the Transformers. And Frank Welker, man, I just felt like he just didn't get enough respect. You know, I mean, I don't know what it is. I thought their signatures were affordable. Each were charging $60 for a signature. You know, when you compare it to Stan Lee or anybody else, I think that's a very reasonable price. And so, you know, whatever. I mean, but both guys, I think if you ever have the opportunity to get them to sign any book, just get them both to sign it, man. I mean, these are two just iconic voices for this cartoon, and Frank Welker actually does probably 10 times as many voices as Peter Cullen does. Frank Welker does like Bubba Duck from DuckTales. He does a lot of animal characters, and he does Grimlock and just a whole bunch of voices in animation. So, but that's it, you guys. I don't want to ramble. I don't want this video to be too long. Please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I really appreciate it. As always, keep God first in your life and enjoy your comic books. And until next time, everybody, I'll talk to you later. Peace.